Hi friends, this is Abhigyan and welcome to my class of online class of Learning Curve. And I'm going to show a demo in Java programming language, like how you write different types of methods. So as part of my earlier demonstration, I had a little bit coverage of one of the topic that we can write the methods in different ways, such as like we can write a void method. We can write a method, it's a void method, but we can write a method by passing the arguments into it. Also, we can write a method by returning a value from that method into the main method. So we will see a practical demo of how to write these different types of methods. So for that, we will first create a package in our Eclipse. So under the default project, which is SRC, we'll go to new and create a package. Let's say the name of our package is demo method. So here our package is created, and under this package we'll select class, like we will create a new class. Let's give a name of the class as class A. I'm just giving any arbitrary name here, and also I'm keeping the default selections like let it be a public class, and also the default selection of inherited abstract methods, and then let me click on finish. So the first class for class A is created, where I'm going to create the data and methods. So if you have already seen my demo earlier, I have explained like how to create the class and the objects. So this is the class that I'm going to create with the data and methods in it. So the first data, let me create the first data is integer len gth, integer length, sorry, then integer wid th width. So these are the two data types, and then I'm going to create a method to calculate a area of surface. So let's say I'm creating a void method first, void calc area, which is calculate area, and then we are creating a variable integer area variable, which is equal to length multiplies with width, and we are giving a print statement here and let me put a statement area from void method is and let me pass the variable area into it. So when I execute this method, it is going to print the void, and it is going to print the line as area from void method is. Whatever comes up in this variable, that value should be printed here. All right, so then we will create our next method, void calc area, but here I'm going to pass the length and width as arguments, len gth int wid th width, so integer length and width, and then that's the, now we are going to construct the method body by calculating the area. So integer area is equal to same thing, len gth length multiplies with width dth, and after that we're going to execute that same print statement to calculate the area and then print it as an output. Now here in the statement, I'm going to modify the statement in the print statement. So earlier the statement was area from void method is, and now we are going to do area from void method by passing arguments is this area, so that we can distinguish the output of different methods. Now the third way of creating a method is the method which will return some value to the main method. So for that we will create another method calc area underscore return, and here we are passing the arguments one more time. Teacher width, and let's calculate integer area equals len gt length multiplies with width. And here, in order to return this variable, we'll have to do a return statement, return area. But here, if you notice that since this method is going to return an area, and if we are trying to put a system.out.println statement, Eclipse, or actually Java, doesn't accept it. There is an error because we are going to return this value into our main method, so we are not printing anything because it is not a void method, so we are not printing anything from this method, right? So we will delete it. Now, as a next step, we will create our next class, which will contain the main method. So we are creating the class here, and let's name it as class B and include the checkbox of public static void main, and we are finished. So then we are into our main method here, and in the main method we are going to create an object of class A. So class A, let's say object equals new class A. So we are creating an object here, and after we are creating the object, what we are going to do, if you go to class A, you see like there are two types of arguments here. One is class level variable, this length and width, these are class level because we have defined it at the class. So these are class level variables, and these are the arguments, like method, the arguments going into the methods. So what happens if we are going to call this method, we'll have to pass the length and width from the class level variables. So in order to create the class level variable, we'll have to access the object here and then access the class level variable. This is the class level variable. So if you see one more time, let me do it one more time. So object dot, you see integer length, and it is integer and it is coming from class A. So this is the class level variable coming from class A. So let's say object dot length is equal to 12, and then object dot same thing width, it is a class level variable, is equal to 15. So we have set up the class level variable here, and then what we're going to do, so object dot, we have calculate area, which is a void method, and then next we are going to do is object dot, we're going to call this method of integer length and width. So we'll have to pass the integer length and width here. Let's pass the value as 13 and 13. So here we are going to call the calculate area method, which is a void method, but it needs an argument. So if you remember, we created our method here, which is another void method, but it needs argument to be passed on. And if we do not pass the argument here, let's do that. So object dot calculate area, this is the calculate area void. So we select that, and let's say we do not pass any arguments, so it is expecting the arguments length and width, and without that it is showing errors. If you see this red line under it, that means there is an error, and when you hover your mouse on it, it shows the error, like it says length cannot be resolved to a variable, and the same thing also width cannot be resolved to a variable, because they are expecting the values to be passed when I call this method. So I'm passing the values here, 13, 13. Now we have another method in class A, which is calculate area underscore return, which is going to return the values from here into the main method. So what I'm going to do here is since that method is going to return a value into main method, we will have to capture that value, whatever is being returned. So this method is returning area, and this area is integer. So we'll have to create one variable here. say integer return underscore area is equal to object dot calculate area return. Now we are going to pass the values 10, 20 here, and since our return method did not have a print statement, we'll have to execute a print statement here to print the value of this variable. So let's say we did system.out.println, and our statement here should be area by returning value is appending character space appending character, and then pass the return underscore area this value. So this value, whatever is being captured here for return underscore area, will be printed here along with this statement. So now what we have done, we have done the original class A, and we have created the method signature like the method bodies here, and then from class B, from the main method, we have called those methods, and for each method our print statement is different, so that we can print the values here with the different print statements. So now let's say I'm clearing this output. This is the same output from my previous demo, but I will clear this, and then what I will do is, let's do run as Java application, and we'll run everything. Okay, so now say it says area from void method is 180. What is our void method? The void method is here, which is length multiplies with width. When we call that void method, we set up the class level variable as 12 and 15, and that void method is accessing the class level variables. So there is no arguments here, there is no return type, so it is directly accessing the class level variables, returns the length and width. So the way you can understand that it is accessing the class level variable is when you click on the length, you see this length gets highlighted with this here. Also, if you double click on this width, you see the width is getting highlighted here. So that means this void method is accessing this length and this width, and this length and width are being, the value of this length and width are being set up from class B by 12 and 15. So 12 multiplies by 15 is 180, so that's where it is printing area from void method is 118. Now area from void method by passing arguments is 169. So we passed these two arguments, 13 and 13, and when we go to class A, so we are seeing like 13 multiplies with 13 is 169, which is printed here. Now the third output is area by returning a value. So returning value is here, it is also length comma width, but sorry, it's here, so length comma width, and it is going to return. So we passed the value for returning value is 10 comma 20, which is multiplication is 200, and this 200 gets calculated here, and then it is stored in this integer variable type area, and it is returned to main method. When it is returned to main method, we are capturing that value into our different variable integer return underscore area. So this return underscore area captures this value 200 and it prints here. So that's how we are seeing three different outputs from three different methods that we have created. So that's all about this video. I wanted to show a quick demo of how we can create different types of methods in Java. Hope you understand and you like this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try to clarify further. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.